Okay, so we're going to look at report writing. Report writing is part of functional writing, and we all know that functional writing is not just about passing exams, but it will also help us when we get into the world of work. So some of the skills that we're going to pick in English language for functional writing will enable us survive or work well when we get out into the working world. For today, we're going to concentrate on report writing. Okay, so we need to ask ourselves, what is a report? Usually this is something that is written, and it's a recording of the findings or things that have happened that it could be your immediate boss that needs them. If we're looking at a school setting, you might be a class captain, so you need to write a report to your class teacher, maybe at the end of a term. If you're a class teacher, you might need to write to your head teacher. If you're a head of department, you might need to write to your head teacher. If you're a prefect, you might need to write to your patron. So it is a report, a written one, that is written for purposes of documenting things that have happened or whatever has been found out on a particular situation or individual or activity and things like that. When you look at the slide, we have said that a report is a written document describing what happened or the findings of individuals or groups. So that means that sometimes you might write a report as a committee. It is very possible. So you might write it as a group, which could be in form of a report from a committee, or it could be as an individual, maybe a class captain or a prefect or a minister. And this report is usually factual, and it is very clear. It doesn't give so much detail. It remains focused on the facts. And when we're writing a report, we usually use past tense because you're reporting, you're talking about something that has happened in the past. Reports can also be on accidents. They could be on specific topics of interest like sports, like class. It could be health. It could be discipline. And they can be written maybe daily, monthly, quarterly, or even annually. Sometimes it could even be every 2 years or things like that. So reports are varied. So we have said that reports are varied, and because of that there are different types of reports. And when you go out into the world as well, you'll find that there are various reports that can be written. So there are various types, like the general report. This one is usually a regular kind of report. It's expected for you to write it. It might be written regularly, maybe weekly, or for example if it's a teacher on duty and then they make that report, or it could be you as a class captain and you make a termly report to your class teacher. So general reports are usual, they are habitual. Then there are incidental reports that are written when an incident happens, so something out of the blue happens. We also have investigative reports. Maybe there's a strike at school, and the head teacher would like you to find out what caused the strike or who led the strike, what the students want to be done, and things like that. So you have to investigate and then you write a report on your findings. Then we also have confidential reports. This is probably things that are written top secret government stuff. It could be in a company, you know, confidential, not for everyone. Then of course there are the newspaper reports. These ones we usually find in the newspaper, and they can report on anything. So reports are varied. They are not limited to the list that is here. And for purposes of academics, we might focus on the first three. Then also to remind ourselves, in English language, when we are writing, it is very important for us to plan our writing before we actually plan it. So as we think about the report writing, we need to know at the back of our minds that we're going to plan whatever we're going to write. Why are we writing? What research have we done? And probably make an outline of the things that we need to see in our report. So we must plan. Then after planning, of course, you go ahead to write your report in the proper layout that we shall see later. And then when you have finished writing, it is always wise to revisit what you have written. So you proofread and ensure that the grammar you have written is correct, your spelling is good, you verify the purpose for your writing. So it's going to be very important for you to actually proofread what you have written. Don't just finish writing and then you say, I have finished. Read through what you have written. So for every writing that you will do in paper 1, it is very important for you to go through these 3 stages. And we shall go through the 3 stages when we are writing our reports. Okay, so now that we have looked at what a report is and the various types of reports that exist, I hope our brains are beginning to think of the reports that we have seen in our lives. So it's now time for you to probably research on some of these reports. Remember, I have said that for purposes of academics, we'll concentrate on the first 3 reports. So go out and do some research on the first 3 reports. That is the general report, the investigative, and the incidental report. And probably in our next lesson, we shall look at the general report. Enjoy your research. Thank you for your time and listening to this presentation.